how would you describe love?
Sacrifice.
What are let's say 3 main things that you would experience that would make the person know that, okay, yes, I'm actually in love?
I think physical attraction has a role to play here.
I agree 100%.
Physical attraction. You will be overly, forgiving the person. You will tolerate a lot of things you wouldn't tolerate on a normal day. Most importantly, you look at anything they do in the positive light.
Right.
Marriage was not designed for happiness. Marriage is designed to continue evolution and to raise younger ones.
So that means if your pursuit in life is happiness, do not get married.
Don't even think about it.
In this Nigeria, peace means is another word for be a fool, be a mumu. Once a man says, just be my peace, what he's really trying to tell you is, let me do anything that I want to do and don't question me.
This is why women have to learn this early on. Remain in your feminine frame. Be that sweet feminine woman, but don't tolerate its BS. I've seen the most stubborn women fall into position when a man is in a masculine frame.
Yeah.
So that now calls for huge character development on the side of the man, which is not easy. But if you can do it, then he will understand that, okay, I am the man, I'm going to lead. He's going to be a good man. But to the women watching this, a good man is not a nice man.
Many educated women don't stay married because they know too much. I've realized that there's so much power in a woman's silence.
Ooh,
and that's one thing I didn't know. Girls, please don't type that paragraph. You see, silence is so golden. Sometimes, you even give that man the opportunity to go and think about what he's done.
We want to practice unconditional love, human beings, but we are not capable of unconditional love.
You think so?
We are not capable. We're not God.
Welcome to another episode of Doing's Corner. On today's episode, guys, we're going to be talking about a very serious topic, the biggest pandemic we have in the world. The only pandemic that is bigger than COVID. Why do most marriages fail? And to discuss this topic with us, we have a relationship expert. Most of you know him already. We've been trying to get him for years. It's very, very difficult to get, but thank God we have him with us today. So he's going to be giving us some insights on why love in general is tough and why marriages fail. So the next person you guys are going to be seeing is Cookie. So I'm going to leave him to introduce himself properly and tell us all of his titles because there are many. So.
Yeah, what up, everybody? This is Skookie Pishao. My real name is Atewo, but everybody calls me Skookie. So yeah, that works. Pishao, Skookie.
So you're a relationship coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The
best relationship. Trust me, I think it's the best because I go through your Instagram page all the time and I'm like, he's speaking so much sense. Sometimes you say some things and I'm just like, oh my God, can all the men in the world just share his brain? Because I think you're very brilliant, to be honest. I think that you're also very emotionally in tune, which is very rare because most times you don't find men that are. It's like there's something about men and just being stunted emotionally.
I mean, we are, well. Yeah.
Most men are emotionally stunted. Can you agree to that?
Let me say emotionally. Men are emotionally intelligent, but emotionally inexpressive. They don't express it as much. They don't know how to express it, but it's there. So they express it in different ways that women don't decipher easily.
Or is it that, another thing I thought about? Maybe men are not so emotionally stunted. Maybe they just pick and choose when they want to be.
Yes.
Do you think that that's it? Because sometimes you think that a man just doesn't know. But the thing is, maybe he has chosen that I don't want to act. I want to act like I don't know with this person. But when I find the person that I want, then I would know.
Yeah, and that's by nature's design and society. Not only society. We tend to say society has shaped men in that way, but even nature has designed men like that. I mean, think about it. When we're evolving, we used to be in the jungle hunting, right? So 2 guys cannot be fighting when they want to hunt lion. It will eat them. Right. They can't be arguing. They can't say, yesterday did not greet me. And, so men have to just kind of damp down their emotions and petty things. So that's how, over the years, adolescents going into adulthood, they tend to be less in touch with that side or to express it more or to think over it more. And so they just gradually get detached from it. And it's not unhealthy as they try to make it seem.
It's not unhealthy?
It's not completely unhealthy, no. It's not
so it's healthy for men to suppress their emotions?
Yeah, to a certain extent, it's healthy for men
Please
to not
explain.
acknowledge, to not acknowledge emotions. See, emotions gain more power when you acknowledge them. Yeah, if you are sad about something that you know that you can't change it, right? You just have to live with it or over time work, right? Then the less you think and think and think and think 100 different ways of it, the less you do that, the better. Because no matter the thinking, you can't change the situation.
Well, it's one thing to think about it, it's another thing to express it. To
Yeah.
suppress, I feel like when you suppress your emotions, it doesn't take it away. The emotions are still there. You're just not like allowing them to
A
thrive,
man
but
is
they will
not.
come up at some point.
Of course, but then, so you acknowledge it, right? You know that it's there. Like, okay, this is this. You identify it, but you don't give it because emotions want to move mad. They want to move
True.
mad and they want
True.
to make a decision now. There's nothing like delayed gratification. Every
Right.
wrong decision you made in your life was an emotional one.
I agree.
If you look
I
at it, it was
agree.
an emotional one. So when a man is emotional, I mean, when men are emotional, that's when you see issues like sexual assault coming up. That's when you see things like domestic violence. Those are emotional men. Those are men who did not just. A woman said something and it pained him so much and he had to react
But
in a
why
way
are we
that was
thinking about
superior.
emotions just with the negative side? There is also,
The positive side.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
because
positive
they
side.
come in
'Cause
through the same doorway. Sadly, human beings. The same doorway you use to overly get unnecessarily excited is the same doorway. A man builds an empire, then he goes to sleep with one girl. That ruins his whole career because he was excited in the moment, in the heat of the moment. He couldn't just tell his Johnny to calm down.
Before we even start talking about emotions, I think the first question that comes to mind that I want to
Yeah.
find out, how would you describe love? What does love mean to you?
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. So I don't want to alienate the audience that are not Christians, but let me just tap into the Bible a bit here, where it says, "For God so loved the world that He sacrificed." That defines it.
Right.
That is sacrifice.
I would have
That He
said,
gave His only begotten Son, which I mean, sacrificed His Son for us. So a sacrifice. First and foremost, is sacrifice. Then from the sacrifice now comes the happiness and the fulfillment that, oh, I've done this for this person, I've done this for this structure, you know. But I
So-
think we flipped it on its head now. We want the happiness first, then we'll now be motivated to
to
sacrifice.
Oh, so you think the sacrifice should come first, then the happiness should come later?
Yeah, I mean, so if you're talking about boy girl context,
Yeah.
attraction will come, right? Oh, I like this girl. Oh, I like this guy. Oh, yeah, I like the way he talks to me. I like the way she looks. I like the way she talks. Fine. But then over time, demands. That's why you meet somebody lovey-dovey butterflies 1st 3 months, but then the butterflies now going to calm down. Then now comes the let me make some sacrifice. Let me learn this person. Oh, she likes to discuss issues when it's on her mind. Oh, he likes to relax and think over things. Then you now have to start bending for each other. Shifting. That's where the sacrifices now start introducing themselves. But if you are hooked on the happy end of things, you're not going to do too well with the sacrifice part of it.
Right. Okay, so how do you know you're in love? Like, what are the things that
Your
you
heart
will
will be
be
doing bing, bing.
feeling? Because I just feel like love is, some people say they're in love, but they're just very calm about it. Me, when I'm
Yeah.
in love, I'm not calm. Oh.
And you're allowed to be not calm.
I'm not calm
Yeah,
at
you're
all.
not.
Like, it's like I'm very fidgety, I'm very
Yeah.
anxious, but the people that are able to just be calm, some people say you'll be thinking about the person a lot. Some people say you're just overly forgiving of the person.
Absolutely.
But what are the, let's say 3 main things that you would experience that would make the person know that, okay, yes, I'm actually in love?
I think physical attraction has a role to play here.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, physical attraction. You will be overly, forgiving with the person. You will tolerate a lot of things you wouldn't tolerate on a normal day. Most importantly, you look at anything they do in the positive light. If they laugh too much, you look at it in the positive
Yeah.
light. If they quiet too much, you look at it in the positive light.
Even if they're doing something that
You
you know
understand.
that this thing does not make sense, you will make excuses for it.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's when you know that you have a soft spot for this person. And it's a good, way to start. It's a good way to start. But it might not be like that all through.
Right.
Because seasons come and seasons go. So because it fades away doesn't mean
It was
that person
never
is still
real.
not cool, or you guys can still not have something, or that summer season will still not come again. It will still come again.
You spoke about being overly forgiving.
Yeah.
as one of the signs that you love somebody,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there is a lot of talk about, self-respect,
Yeah.
boundaries,
Yeah.
and all of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
do boundaries exist with love? In love,
Yes, they have to.
can you really set boundaries for somebody? Because sometimes you want to set the boundaries, but like when you just think about the person and you think about the fact that life will be really hard if I'm not talking to this person.
Yeah.
Or it's
Yeah.
difficult to really, really stand by your boundaries.
Yes.
So the boundaries really exist when, or
Eventually they have to, otherwise it will start to suffocate. I see the lover that gives has to be fed also, otherwise the person will starve emotionally. Because if you keep giving, and the person keeps crossing that boundary, eventually it's going to tell on you for giving
Right.
that much, covering that much space. Unless it's something that you can live with, unless it's something that you can live with. Okay, this person, they have brain touch in this aspect, and I will accept them like that. But then they have to make up for it somewhere. Otherwise, your willpower will be drained eventually. They have to make up for it somewhere. See, we want to practice unconditional love, human beings, but we are not capable of unconditional love.
you think so?
We are not capable. We are not God. We can.
Our parents kind
No,
of
no,
show us unconditional
no,
love.
mother.
Okay, our mothers. Okay,
And
true.
that's the closest.
True.
That's the closest. Not even, and it's not even 100. But the closest thing we can see to unconditional love on this planet is a mother's love for her child.
But should romantic love even be unconditional? Because for me, I
It
go
can't
back and
be.
forth with
It
that
can't-
thing. I feel like the real type of love is supposed to be unconditional, right? It's supposed to
Yes.
be, regardless of however you show up, I love you, right? But
yeah.
also, that's also weird because there should be something that this person is doing that is making you say
course.
that is foiling that love.
Yeah, that's it.
So I think about it. Do you think true love should really be romantic love should be unconditional, or do you think there should be conditions?
There will always be conditions. It's not what I think it should. We are designed that way. There will always be conditions. We are trying to go towards unconditional love, but being imperfect creatures, we can only go towards it. And we keep going there and coming back, going there and coming back. Different stages of life presents their own battles. A young couple without kids is different from when they have kids. It's different from when the kids
Right.
leave home. It's all different phases. So we are only just going to keep trying to achieve unconditional love. So if you go thinking, oh, I'll love this person unconditionally, I mean, that's the mission, and that's what you hope to get from them too. But it's just a ride. That's why it be like fight. That's why it's like struggle.
There's a question that comes to mind when I think we're still going to go into marriage,
Yeah,
but
of
I
course,
want to talk about
absolutely.
love first.
Yeah.
How do you know? We've spoken about being overly forgiving, being
Yeah.
tolerant, all of those things are part of like loving somebody. But how do you know when it's time to let go? What's the sign?
Wow. So before the cameras came on, we were talking about something
Yeah.
where we said if you ask 1,000,000 people that question, it will be 1,000,000 different answers. Yes,
Right.
because human beings are not robots. We are not. One person's boiling point is different from another person. We are not like water that 100 degrees is the boiling point. Yeah, some people is 90 degrees, some people is 20 degrees. They don't blow.
Right.
So the time when it's let go is when you are sacrificing, and it's beginning to eat out of your self-identity, where you don't recognize yourself anymore. People give so much, they look in the mirror and they don't even know who they are looking at. At that point, yes, you might need to let go. But if you are sacrificing, but the person is still feeding you something, that that validates you as a human being, that makes you feel good and helps you grow as a person, then fine, you could still, shuffle there. But if it's beginning to drain you and drain you and drain you, then you might need to check out. It's not the easiest because our brain likes what is familiar.
Right.
We call it comfort zone, but it doesn't even have to be comfortable. That thing we call comfort zone doesn't even have to be comfortable because there are so many people stuck in a situation that they are not comfortable in, but because their brain is familiar with it, they'll just stay there. If there are women in toxic relationships, he's beating her, he's abusing her, but she's just staying there because she's like, if I go, where will I find another person? But meanwhile, there's so much options out there.
Right.
There's so much.
It's like
promise
this
people.
scarcity mindset.
I promise
It's just-
people there are so many amazing people out there. Don't even doubt it.
I don't think it's about thinking that there are not amazing people out there. I'm sure there are amazing people out there, but it's just you kind of Like when you love somebody, you don't really want to replace them, even though you know,
Because the
like
brain likes
they
what.
are.
No, no, that's our brain playing a trick on us.
You
Because the
think
brain, yeah,
so?
absolutely. Trust me, man.
And
Your
also, it's
mind,
also a lot of work. Okay, you've met another
yes,
amazing person. You start building the
all over
relationship
again.
all over again. Start telling them what you like, what you don't like, how
Like,
you
what's
like
your
to be.
favorite color?
It's
Have
just
you
a
eaten?
lot.
Aye.
It's just a lot of work where you can just make it work with this person.
But then it's draining. It's
So
beginning
if
to
you
get
let
draining.
go, was the love ever real?
It could be it have been real, yeah. It could have been real. People change. So if they changed, what will you do about it? If they change, what will you do about it? It's a risk. Life is a risk, right?
Right.
You just want to make sure that you have the staying power. You want to make sure that you give the most you can give. Because like you said, it's hard starting all over. So you just want to make sure that you give all that you can give. Not just bounce once the feeling or the high is gone.
Right.
Because it's not always about the high.
Absolutely. I
It's not
think I'm
always
happy
about
you said that because I feel like a lot of people think that love is this happy excitement, I'm
Happy.
giddy
We'll touch
feeling.
on that happy.
I think that love is actually the difficult. I think when you
Yep.
say that you love, it shows when things are tough.
Yep.
I think you can be happy with anybody.
Yep.
But to be uncomfortable but still choose somebody, to me,
Yeah.
is what is the testament of
That
love.
is the programming that we, as a generation, when I say generation, I'm talking about millennials and Gen Z. I'm sure you fall into one of those. Of course,
Millennial.
you're not Gen Alpha now.
No, millennial.
Millennial, yeah. You know, so that is the programming. Like, we have confused love as a feeling with, or let me say, we prioritize love as a feeling over love as an action. Love as an action is not always delicious, but it's delayed gratification. The beauty comes after you've made the sacrifices, but the beauty will come. But I mean, they've just programmed us so much that we think that it's love as a feeling. If I'm not feeling the feeling now, something is off. Nothing has to be off. Nothing has to be off.
I think there's a thin line between love and stupidity. To be honest,
Yes,
I'm serious.
absolutely.
I think that there's some form of stupidity in
Of
love,
course,
right?
yeah.
How do you know when someone is deserving of your love, or from how do you tell the difference between that and when you're just being stupid? Because it looks alike. Like those two situations, they look alike. You think, okay, I'm loving this person the whole time, you're just being a fool. So what's that distinction? How do you know when somebody deserves your love?
So, the reason why I used the word risk earlier is because there's so many things in love that you can't know now. You can only know after you've done it, after you've
Right.
put in so much effort and time and emotional investment. It's like when I was discussing narcissists with somebody the other day, and I was like, if you meet a narcissist, you cannot know, because sometimes they're even more charming than a correct person, right? And but we're all narcissists, by the way, all of us human beings. We have it on the spectrum.
Yeah,
Some
I
people just do
agree.
it more.
I
Yeah, so we
agree.
all have So, but if you meet a narcissist, it's only when you look back that you now realize that, oh, I got caught in their web. But you can't know that, oh, I met this guy. Is he a narcissist? You can't tell. That's the thing. So, same thing with love. One day you just wake up and be like, it be like say I don't do mumu for this thing. You understand? Yeah, it be like say I don't do mumu for this thing. That's when the work now starts. And women struggle here a lot because you people are emotional hurricanes, which is not a bad thing. We need it. We need we need your emotions. Trust me.
Right.
We need what? We need it. Women. When I say women are emotional, it's not a bad thing, right? And that's why you said earlier that why we speak on emotions as if on the negative. No, there's a good side to it because a woman's emotions powers a lot of things. If people are not emotional, I don't think we're more than 100 people in this world because nobody will going back to give birth again. If people
Right.
use logic to get pregnant,
Right.
but it's emotions that you go through that pain, go back. You know, my mother did it 5 times. You know, it's basically emotional. If it's,
Right.
if it's logical thinking,
You will not do
you
it
not even
again.
go there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's where women now struggle because when it gets to the point where you wake up one day and be like, okay, I think I'm becoming a fool in this. But then you check, your friends start to whisper it to you, oh, I just didn't want to tell you, oh, yes, this, oh, yes, that. You see that the sacrifices is more on your end, and this person is just taking and taking and taking. Then the battle now becomes between you and you. Because one part of you will be like, I deserve better. Then another part of you will be like, no, it's okay, just stay there, just stay there. Do not underestimate
the logical part of your brain.
Yeah, and then that voice, you have two voices in your head, one for you and one against you, right? And do not underestimate the one that is against you. It can be slick. I'm like, just stay there now. Why do you want to leave now? Do you understand? It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So that's where the work now begins. I think that is really the pain. That is really that painful moment. Imagine you are dating someone and after a year and a half, you realize that I don't do stupid for you. But you struggle for another 1 year. It's that last 1 year that's really the pain.
Absolutely.
Yes, because your emotions are already unleashed now to start calling them back. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. And I think that's the way this present generation is looking for, like, okay, how do I work with this? Because you give out yourself so much, then you're stung, then you have to take yourself, gather yourself back
Right.
again,
And
then you do it again, then
And it's a lot of work, and that's why these days you see a lot of people are very, very strategic with how they love, and people don't want to open themselves up completely because people have been burned,
Yeah.
right? And one thing that I've realized is a lot of people have been burned or they've been hurt, and they remember the pain that they went through at the
Yeah.
time where they were hurt, and subconsciously or consciously, I don't know, they turn into the people that hurt them.
Yeah.
So
That's what happens.
they start to do the same thing
That's what happens.
to the
Yep.
people, like the same thing that was done to them, they start to do it to people under the disguise of, I don't want to open myself up because I don't want
Yeah.
to get hurt. But
Yeah.
you forget that this thing that is happening in this dynamic was exactly what happened to you
Exactly.
that got you to this point.
Exactly.
And that just makes me think, it's almost like most times we choose people that cause us so much pain. It's just, sometimes I always ask this question, and I think it's mostly with men, to be
Yeah.
honest. I don't know if it's just men. I don't want to sound like I'm
Okay.
being,
Yeah.
pro women or whatever, but I feel like men prefer women that don't like them that much. The moment a woman shows a man, I like you, like I really like you, then automatically something in him just kicks in and he just
It's a
starts
trauma
to-
response. If we know the damage that is done to humans in childhood, oh man, if we have the tiniest clue of the damage that's done to human beings in their first 7 years, 7 to 12 years, man, we're going to look at parenting in a whole new light, because
agree.
people really are set on a trajectory for the rest of their life.
Right.
I don't think you really change from 7, some people say 12. Even if you buy a drug, they'll tell you ages 0 to 5, half tablet, 5 to 12, one
Right.
tablet, then 12 to 99. Because they change again,
Right.
physically, nervous system wise and emotionally.
Everything's
everything
already
is hardwired in. It takes a lot of work to now, reprogram yourself. So when you say guys like girls that don't like them, it's a trauma response. Boys break toys. If you look at if you buy a young girl a Barbie doll, if you come back 3 months later, the Barbie doll is well taken care of,
Right.
She's nurturing it. If you buy a boy a small motor car, if you come back, he has scattered he has one tire left. He has removed this, he has scattered this. So boys break things. Boys break things, It's part of the masculine, imperative to just be curious and, everything like that. So when a guy grows up, if a woman lays herself down as a toy, he's going to break her. Sadly. Now, I've lost my train of thoughts.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Should I remind you?
Yeah, I'm talking about guys.
I was talking about like why guys choose
Yes,
women
okay,
that don't
good.
like them.
This was the point I was trying to make. Thank you very much for that. A man will only value you with the value you place on yourself. Men work with women who value themselves. A man continues to love a woman who values herself. Now, you said it's as if men like women that treat them bad. So here it is, right? If a man offers you BS and you take it, it's always in small doses.
Right.
He will come again, he will offer another one. You will take it. You look back 6 months later. Your friends are like, how can you allow him to do that? As in, you called him on Friday and then he doesn't pick your phone till Monday morning. And then you are looking like, how did I get here? It started by one day when he didn't call you back. One day, And I keep telling people that I wrote in my book, I said, what a man needs the most. Nigerian men, I've studied Nigerian men more than any species of men on earth. What Nigerian men need the most is a sweet, feminine woman who will not tolerate his BS. That's what Nigerian men need. The sweet, feminine part to inspire the masculine in him, right? To bring out the
Right.
protector, provider part of him. But then when a man gets a woman who is that in that femininity, she's more vulnerable, she's soft. Doesn't mean she's weak, but it's closer to that, you know. So
Yeah.
she's vulnerable, she's soft. Then he makes an attempt to poke at it, like, let me see if you, let me tell her to, don't disturb me, don't do that. Then throws it away. Then if she stays there and collects it and cries and sends long message, which you people like sending, send a long message. I just want to talk about it. I just want to talk, which never solves anything.
Right.
Then you're
I've
looking, you're
learned-
looking like you've been there. The way you did, no. The way you did.
I think we need to stop sending paragraphs. Girls, please just stop. It doesn't work. I think the paragraphs do more damage than
Please
good.
don't send. Please, I
Yeah.
promise you. When a man
yeah.
is messing up, it's not what you say. It is what you don't say. He has offered you BS and he wants to see if you value yourself. You run all over him. You are blowing up his phone. You are blowing up his DMs, everything. He's just going to be like, this one does not know that I'm not worth this effort. Like, look at her. Like, I'm not worth it, girl. Like, choose yourself.
Right.
That's really what happens. That's what's going on in his head. You know? So a man works with the value that a woman plays. That's why I see a guy dating a girl. She was just out there, understanding girlfriend, everything. And then he breaks up with her, and 1 month later, he's with another girl who is mad. Who is as if she's mad. It's not that she's mad. It's just that she's not going to let him get away with that. Like,
Right.
yo, you told me you will call me back at this. You didn't call me. Bam, she changes it for him on the spot. You have to treat disrespect on the spot. You don't let it pass. If it passes, let it go. Don't send an epistle. It will come again. Because men will not stop trying to offer you that. It's not only men, by the way. You know, this goes both
Women.
ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways,
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely.
I agree
that's
with
it.
you. I just think I agree with everything you said. I just think sometimes when you really like somebody, it's very difficult to treat that disrespect on the
Of course,
spot.
of
Like
course.
you want to almost just let me
And
just,
and as you
yeah.
should, right? But when it starts becoming a pattern, you know, as you should, like, okay, you just met this person, you have to give room for each other to adjust. Like, some people, maybe in their past relationship, they will do this thing and they will get away with it. So with you, they try it. Man, it doesn't necessarily mean the person wants to, you know, get away with something or offer you nonsense. So you check. But it gets to a point, like we said, when you wake up and be like, I think I'm
I
becoming
think
stupid
I'm a
here.
fool.
Yeah.
And I think
that
to-
thing is not lying.
Yeah, and I think to be honest, I think sometimes people try to poke you to see how much you can take.
Yeah, that's it.
They want to see, okay, how much can I disrespect this person before they realize,
Yeah.
you know. Well,
So-
it's crazy. It's crazy. I think love is just a whole game in this Nigeria. People are not in love. People are just looking for power struggle. But we're going to go on a quick break and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back from the break. We're still on the topic why most marriages fail. Like you guys know, in most cases, you will find out that, you hear that this couple, they spent, thousands of dollars, doing their wedding and it's the talk of the town and everything. And then 2 years after, the people that have bought Ashwebi, everybody that came to celebrate is hearing that they got divorced. And it's just crazy. And for me, I don't really understand why, this institution fails so much, but for some reason, we just keep getting married. So that makes me think, tell me, do you think marriage is important?
I think so. I mean, I think for the sake of evolution, we have to do what we have to do. Like, we have to hand over our values to the next generation. And how else do we want to raise young ones if we don't raise them in a unit where there's a masculine figure and a feminine figure so that they can get, a dose of both and go on into life and then they can replicate it also.
I agree with you, but I don't think, for me, I don't think marriage is important. I just feel like it's a situation where we just feel they need to bring the government in so that it's difficult for us to walk away
Government.
when it's time to, when things get hard. Because marriages get hard. But
Yeah.
also, I feel like the title marriage is what even makes, it's what puts pressure on that union.
So I like the fact that you mentioned government. Because we have dampened the human conscience, then government had to step in. So now marriage is between man, woman, and government. But the ideal marriage, because government is not marriage is not the government's this idea. It was God's idea. The ideal marriage should be man, woman, and God. But now, the pillars of culture and religion have been disrupted,
Right.
such
People
that these
don't
boundaries
respect
are
it that
not there
much.
anymore.
Right.
Marriage was not designed for happiness. Marriage is designed to continue evolution and to
Then
raise
if
younger ones and try to make it a happy ecosystem.
so that means if your pursuit in life is happiness, do not get married.
Don't even think about it. Don't worry, because there'll be days, there'll be seasons. There'll be summer days, there'll be winter nights. So you have to take everything together. But we think that we should just find happiness in marriage.
Yeah.
Yes, you would work and create an environment where happiness will thrive. But marriage is not designed for happiness.
I agree with you 100%.
That is-
I think
that
there's
is it.
even a higher chance to be unhappy
Yep.
when you're married than there is to be happy when you're married. Because
Exactly.
the whole idea of cohabitation in general
Yeah.
brings conflict.
Yeah.
And that's why I like that a lot of people are now trying to find better ways to cohabit with their partners by saying, okay, let's have separate bedrooms. What do you think about that, by the way? I'm a big supporter of separate bedrooms, separate bathrooms, separate closets. Because it just helps you not clash as much. But people
Yeah.
think, oh, we're supposed to be on the
Nice
same
space.
bed together. We're supposed to go to bed, to all those things.
I mean, there are different ways it works. Yes. I mean, even for instance, there might be a phase in a marriage where separate bedrooms might work. They might come to a phase where they just want to be in each other's space again. I think going into a marriage, people should know that they don't need to lose their individuality.
I agree.
You have to be able to hold on to a part of yourself. You can't lose yourself. And men panic on this area because we said earlier that
Yeah.
men go into a deep relationship like marriage wanting to hold on to their freedom. Women go into it wanting to have a deep sense of security. So everybody's now panicking. The guy doesn't want to lose his freedom. The woman doesn't want to feel like she's losing a man or there's too much space between them.
Right.
But if you can come to an understanding, which, I mean, it takes, learning each other. And you said something earlier. You said you feel like when marriage actually makes people just kind of panic and
Yeah.
yeah.
They overthink.
I think people should. I like the idea that people should marry, but then they should not realize that they are married. I'm not saying they should act unmarried, but they shouldn't overly take it like, now that we're married, now we're there. That's what's really caused problem. You see some people, they date for 10 years, then they marry, and 11th year,
Yeah.
everything has scattered.
I think that a lot, especially men, I think men put themselves under pressure that nobody has put them under. There's this pressure of, maybe, I think, to be honest, I think that men have the fear of failing.
Yeah.
I think when a divorce happens, the man usually takes it as, I have failed at this.
Yeah.
I wasn't a good husband, or I couldn't make my homework, or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the expectations that we women actually have of men is not really that high. I don't think marriage is really that different from a relationship.
No, it's
just
not.
just
It's-
use common sense and be a good person.
It's not really that
That's
different.
all.
If
It's
they-
not really that
committed
different.
relationship, you are rehearsing
Yeah.
for marriage already. Yeah. You are rehearsing for the whole thing. And men just seem sometimes to run from what is not chasing them. Men are scared that women overthink things.
Right.
And because he's scared that she overthinks things, he makes him be on guard extra. Where he could have listened and be more soft with her, he's just totally like, trying to cut shit off, and it doesn't work.
When you speak about marriage, for a man trying to get married, maybe there's a man watching in his early 30s thinking about settling down.
Yeah.
What do you think, or a woman looking for a partner, or a man looking for a partner, what do you think men should be looking out for in women, and what do you think women should be looking out for in men in terms of traits for a good partner?
Yeah. I think the number one trait for me, I think, is just somebody who wants to see you win. Somebody who wants to see you at peace, whatever peace means for you.
Right.
But it will only work well if you also replicate that for them.
I agree.
If you also do that same thing for them. But once you identify that this person likes to see me at peace, like, okay, this person likes to learn how I like to do things, then you have a winner there. Because if a woman can look at a guy and be like, okay, what does peace mean to him? Not what I think peace should mean to him. You know, if you have a woman who's deciphering you like that, then beautiful. Then you should not be like, what does peace mean
Peace
to
mean
her?
to her.
Now, peace for the guy probably means give me some space if we've been together for 8 hours, 10 hours. Sometimes I just need to go and be on my own. Maybe you are in the living room, I'm in the room or whatever, I'll drive out. Then I come back recharged. And she understands that. But the man also wants to understand that peace for her means we're together as much as we can be, which means that nobody's going to have their way 100%.
Right.
So we're also going to shuffle.
Compromise.
So once you see somebody who wants you to win in your daily psychological battles, in your career, in your little moments and your big moments, then you're good.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
But in this Nigeria, peace means is another word for be a fool, be a mumu. Once a man says, just be my peace, what he's really trying to tell you is, let me do anything that I want to do and don't question me. Don't complain.
So
So I think men also need to be lenient with what they really mean by this word peace.
right?
You have to
But
give a
then-
woman peace
but
for her
then
to
doing-
give you
doing-
peace
There are a
too.
lot of guys who are not interested in cheating,
I agree.
but they want their space. He's not interested in cheating. He's not interested in going out with other girls. But he likes to be with his boys, drink a couple of beers, you know.
But cheating is not the only thing.
So,
Cheating is, there are different things that can bring chaos. So,
of course,
and
a
the
lot.
man is still okay. For example, there's an issue. Can we talk about it? He does not want to talk.
Yes.
He does not. And the woman cannot rest because she's like, I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know this. Just sit down, hear her out,
Yeah.
validate what she's saying.
So-
It's not that hard.
So this is why women have to learn this early on. Remain in your feminine frame. Be that sweet feminine woman, but don't tolerate his BS. So once you see that you are meeting a new guy, you are beginning to talk. Do your part in trying to understand him that he's a man and is different from you. Understand that as you are panicking and you are worried, like, this thing, is it going to make sense? Same way he is also doing it. And men are more ignorant of their emotions, right? Not that men are not emotionally intelligent, but they are not aware of their emotions like that. So if she, starts to offer him that, because yes, I know a lot of guys that their man will give them peace. Then she wants to talk about something. They will ask for more peace. Then for more till
Exactly.
yeah, of course. Then in that case, it's just that sometimes she's even into deep, so it's hard
Right.
to
So
even
to
it's
walk
even hard
away
to-
or to even
so
question anything.
yeah. So
She
the
just-
work really has to be done from both sides. The man has
I
to do the
agree.
work. The woman has to do the work. I will always go to the men because the man is supposed to be the leader, and I've seen the most stubborn women fall into position
Absolutely.
when a man is in a masculine frame.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that now calls for huge character development on the side of the man, which is not easy. But if you can do it, then he will understand that, okay, I am the man, I'm going to lead. He's going to be a good man. But to the women watching this, a good man is not a nice man. It's like a parent raising a child.
He's
Sometimes the
also
child
not a
say-
dictator. A good man, because you're good does not mean you will just say it is my way or no way.
No, it's not
let
going to be a
us-
dictator, but he will be quite domineering. And he will take charge a lot. And taking charge and being controlling are like they share the same fence. And sometimes he's just not going to agree with the woman. But this is why, if he has developed his character, he'll be doing that not from a place of ego. It's like a child that wants to go and play outside in the rain. The
Yeah.
mother knows you're going to catch a cold. The child is like, oh, this looks so much fun. And the mother says, sit down. And the child is like, this woman doesn't love me. I know when I was young, I used to be my mommy, you should die. Mommy, And then, but the mother knows better. And that's what a woman wants in a man.
Right.
She wants a man who knows better, right? So sometimes he's going to goof. Sometimes he's going to because he's not good. He's going to make a decision that will be nonsense,
Right.
right? And she'll be like, can you see? So I always tell men, if you make a decision that you goofed, don't let your ego, because that MF is slick. Walk up to her and be like, oh, this thing you said that we should have done it your way. I made a mistake on that. Bam. She will even be tickled, like,
Right.
So women just want to see that. I have seen the most stubborn women fall into frame.
In fact, I want to give you a round of applause for this answer that you gave, because I think that people there's this misconception that women don't want to submit.
Yeah.
I think majority of women want to submit.
Yeah.
I think women actually want to be led, but you cannot just ask us to submit to rubbish and bastard.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, okay, now you said, show me that you have direction. Show me that you have something that, I can close my eyes and say, I trust this man to lead. Right?
That is it.
I think sometimes too, especially in this part of the world, there's this thing of leadership is almost like as if your wife is a servant. Your wife is not a servant.
No.
I think that the best leaders are the people that understand what it means to serve.
Yeah.
I personally think marriage is service towards one
course.
another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serving you, you're serving me. I understand. I want to submit
Yeah.
to my husband, right? I want to listen to him. But he cannot get the submission by shouting at me.
No.
Do you understand? The
Shouting.
same way I think women cannot get men to also cooperate by shouting at them. Women be soft, but men too, you understand that. Because sometimes that softness can put you in trouble. You can be soft because you love a man, and the man will just think, okay, I found this toy that I can just wind anyhow, and I can just, it's sometimes it's not.
Women are emotional hurricanes, and it's not a bad thing. We need you guys to be emotional like that, because having kids, getting pregnant, going through that 9 months of pain is an emotional decision. There's nothing logical about it. If it was men that were getting pregnant with logical brain, we'll be like 1 million people in the whole wide world, So, because women are emotional hurricanes, men need to learn how to handle women. Sometimes there's really nothing you really can't handle her. She has to blast, storm has to blow and pass. You just have to stand like this. Right? And that's why I said good men are not nice men. She will kick you, throw tantrums, but at the end of the day, she'll be like, this guy did just not move. He didn't agree for me.
But you are glorifying stubbornness too much. Sometimes the woman is right and the man is just in his, I'm not bulging. That's also not
So
good.
now, that's why I go back again to the starting point is a man developing his character.
Right.
But sadly, men are being feminized. We have a femme-centric society. Feminism has done nonsense to both genders. We preach the idea of equality. Gender equality is what they said, but gender uniformity was what they were teaching us, trying to make us think that we're the same. Equality is fine, but let's keep that thing to the workplace and the school and equal opportunities in society.
Agree.
But we should separate our emotional arena from that, what we're doing out there. And this is where the American Association of Psychologists has missed, because they wanted to play in the game of science too. They started to, treat humans like their scientific elements. And a human being is not carbon or sulfur that will behave in a way if you put it in a can and mix it with one element or the other. Two people can literally go through the same situation and react completely differently, right? So women don't want to be equal. Women have no desire to be equal. You don't want a man shorter than you.
I agree.
You don't want a man that you make more money than.
I agree.
You don't want a man that you're bigger than. You don't want a man that you make better decisions than.
I agree.
So you don't want equality. And that comes to what you said, that women actually want to submit.
Women want to submit, yes.
Desire to submit. But to the men watching this, she's going to be a headache. And she's not going to submit just like that. Sometimes she's going to test you. Sometimes she just wants to remind herself that you are a leader. You can say dramatic, yes. Dramatic comes with the package of having a feminine woman.
True.
When it's too much, then you can start saying, oh, this is toxic. But a woman being dramatic, by virtue of her menstrual cycle, you people are 4 different human beings in 1 month.
I'm telling you.
She's having PMS, having all these things. Her skin routine that will pop, everything that is just retracting. She's not feeling herself. You do the same thing. She just, like witch. You're like, what's going on here? So, men have to understand that women are emotional thunderstorms. And that's what it is. But they've told us, they've drummed it into men's head that you're equal. So men are sitting down, trying to discuss dialogue with a woman to get the point, like the way he wants her to get the point. No. And that's why I say women don't lie. If a woman is telling you something now, it's not because it's true.
Feels.
It's because that's what she feels now. And that's why they say, don't change her mind, change her mood. Now, it's not easy. But once you understand that this is a woman, and this is 9 out of 10 things that come out of her mouth is just emotional BS, then you will not lose sleep. A lot of guys that are unaliving themselves is because, if you look at it, most men unaliving themselves is tied to a woman in their life that they are not seeing eye to eye, because he thinks he must make her see eye to eye because they told him that they are equal. You're not equal. You're a head. You're a leader. And that comes with a lot of responsibility and headache.
To whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
And I agree with you. You spoke about being, menstrual cycle and being pregnant and all of that. Which is why I think that this society, this part of the world, we've lied to men. I understand. See me, I would always say I respect men for being able to provide. I don't think it's easy to be able to provide. I appreciate men that take provision very seriously because we need it. But you see, being emotionally safe is just as important.
Absolutely.
Right? But I think men sometimes think, okay, if I'm providing, I don't need to tend to our emotions. Go and deal with your emotions.
Yeah.
You can. The moment like a woman feels that if I come to my man with a problem is 2 steps away from walking out of my relationship, she cannot be safe. Like she cannot feel calm around you. And the safer you make a woman, the better that woman, the more peace she gives you. I'm telling you, like the whole concept of marriage or relationship in general, I think it's just working hand in hand.
Yep, absolutely.
If you do what you're meant to do, it's like a ripple effect. Except you have a bad partner. Except you have a bad partner, which is why selection is also a very important criteria. You have to be very careful with selection. But if you have a good partner, if you do your own part, she says she'll reciprocate and do her own part. And then that way it works. And I want to talk about divorce, right? We hear about divorces almost all the time. Everybody's getting divorced these days. And a lot of people think that the leading cause of divorce is infidelity. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I actually think a lot of people, a lot of women have accepted that my husband is going to cheat. Do you understand? Some women even know that their husband is cheating, but they just don't even want to. They are just turning a blind eye to it because they're like, I don't even want to just bring up any issues. So what do you think is the leading cause of divorce?
I think the leading cause of divorce will be the fact that men and women do not understand each other. And school, all of us, we went to school. So a lot of who we are as adults is what we learned in school. And sorry, school is one of the places where you really don't learn how to interact with other human beings in the way you would need to for deep relationships.
Right.
You just go there, you wear a mask from morning till the afternoon and you go home, right? And also school is not where you learn how to make money. You just go and chunk a lot of junk in your head.
Get a degree.
Exactly. So because we've gone to school, we've been trained in the principles of mathematics and Newtonian physics, we now try to apply this to human relationships. What I mean by that is we always try to look for a point A and point B.
Right.
Who is right and who is wrong. In school, you're supposed to have an opinion on something and you're supposed to defend the opinion, which means you treat your opinion as a fact, right? But in a relationship, 2 people can have 2 opinions that are very valid and very right.
I agree.
So they say sometimes the opposite of a good idea is another good idea, right? So when you go into a marriage, you could literally be saying something and your partner is not understanding or saying a different thing, and it doesn't mean they are wrong. But people go around in these circles trying to look for who is right and who is wrong. I'll face the women a bit here because women think things deep. Men get fed up and just say, you know what, F it, which is also bad because she doesn't feel heard. The woman too sometimes doesn't feel she's heard because she feels they haven't gotten to a point of who is right or who's wrong. Sometimes she even wants to know if she's the one wrong, but really you're not wrong, right? And a lot of relationship coaches miss it here because when they tell couples, oh, communicate this, some people sit down for 8 hours communicating, but the thing is they're still looking for who is right and who is wrong. Your opinion is not a fact.
I agree.
Your opinion is just not a fact. Once you understand that, this girl I'm marrying is going to see the world through a set of eyes that I can't even understand how somebody can think like that, but it is valid. Same way, once you know that this my man is just going to not to see some things in a way, and it's okay. It's how we operate in a man's world. Now, do you want the other person to have peace the way what peace means to them, and are they reciprocating it? If you guys can do that for each other, bam, it's good. But I hear people say, I don't understand. I was telling you earlier, a guy had a talk with a guy. It was very sad. His wife just gave birth. Child is maybe 4 weeks old. And it was like, I don't know. Sometimes she will just wake up. She will just cry. I don't understand. And I'm like, God damn it. He just didn't know. He just thinks like, I don't understand. What's all this emotional roller coaster? But that's what comes with the package of having a woman.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I agree with you 1000%. I think two truths can exist. That's something that
Absolutely.
people struggle to understand, myself inclusive. And I think one of the biggest things that is even causing, especially women, our problem in this, I see education. Education is a good thing, no?
Yeah.
But educated women, you see, one prayer I say to myself, God, please don't let this my education get in the way of my marriage. Because many educated women don't
Yeah.
stay married because they know too much.
Know
And
too much, right?
sometimes when you see that I too know,
I don't know. Yep.
oh,
Yep.
when you feel like I know more than him,
Yeah.
I'm smarter than him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's anything that can destroy, because from that person's point of view, they can be right.
Yep.
And they can, from everything, their life experience, everything that they know, they can be right. And even if you feel that you are right, sometimes it's not in the moment that you want to
Exactly.
correct that. Let it go. I've learned, if there's one thing I've learned, let things go.
Let things go.
Let
You have
things
said
go.
it. Let
Pick your
things
battles.
go.
You
Let
cannot fight
things go.
every
At
fight.
all.
I'm telling you, you cannot be the smartest person in the world. Your
all.
education, your degree, just take it outside your marriage. Because
Absolutely.
men, their ego, I don't think you can take away a man's ego.
You shouldn't even.
Yeah, you
Taking away a
can't.
man's ego is like saying you want to take away a woman's emotions.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He needs it to lead. He needs it to
I
feel
agree.
fulfilled. He needs it to make you feel feminine. Same
I
way the
agree.
woman needs her emotions to be in a feminine to make you feel masculine.
Sometimes the man even knows you are right, but you see that his ego cannot just
Will
let
just-
him. And if you can tell that this man knows that I'm right, but he just
Let's let it
be
be.
quiet.
Just let it be.
I've realized that there's so much power in a woman's silence.
Ooh.
And that's
I'm-
one thing
I'm
I
so
didn't know.
grateful you said that.
Girls, please don't type
so
that
grateful you said
paragraph.
that.
You see, silence
Yeah.
is so golden. Sometimes, like, you even give that man the opportunity to go and think about what he's done.
I'm so happy you said
Right?
this.
And I think it's a big lesson for us. And it's not easy for us women too. Because when we're emotional,
Yeah.
we feel like as if maybe it's this one thing that I'll say that will make
Yeah.
him understand. Maybe it's the next thing. You've said everything, my love. Like, you said everything.
Men hear what you don't see.
Yeah.
Men hear what you don't see. And a man thinks clearer when he keeps quiet, when he has time to keep quiet and, reflect on it. Or you even get a better version of him. I understand that some guys say, I don't want to talk about it now. You go tomorrow, I don't want to talk about it now.
Right.
But not all men are like that. There are some women watching this now that if they just give their man 24 hours, just let him go to work tomorrow and come back. Or give him 2 days on it.
But
or
can
whatever.
men also try? That
So
anger
now-
is
so
burning
now it's
in
not-
me. You know, I should give you 2
Exactly.
days. Can't we come to a compromise? Like maybe 8 hours.
That's it. That is it. So someone can always shift for the other person.
Right.
If a guy just got a new job, he's trying to find his feet, but there's an issue that's pending, and you know that this work is also, driving him crazy. Maybe the woman in that position can be like, okay, let me give him some space. He's juggling a lot of other things. Or if a woman too, maybe she's going through something in her business or whatever, and you know that a lot of things are just juggling ahead. So that is even making her just, vibrate unnecessarily. The man too can be understand. That's why I say you always need to look out for the other person. I just want them to win. Yeah, like what does peace mean for this person? Okay, let me give it to them. That one too, at the same time, one person cannot do it, but one person can inspire the other to pick up to it.
You know, one question I have, because we have to wrap this up soon,
Okay,
but one
yeah.
question I thought about while you were speaking is this. There are people, you spoke about character development. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think on both ends. I think, yes, maybe it's more important for the man because at the end of the day, he's the one selecting the woman and he's the leader and all of that. Can one very good quality human being maintain a relationship with an uncooperative partner?
No, it can't.
If you are an amazing person, you know how to get along with people, you can people please, you have character development, but you just have a partner that will not cooperate, can you make it work?
I mean, you could, but it will take a lot from you. You could, but it will take a lot. You could lose yourself in the process. I will not advise it, right? But then, you can that kind of thing. You can't give the advice today. The person would have had to done a lot
Right.
before you can now give the advice. Looking back at what has happened, I think this thing is not going to work. Because it's possible, because we're all coming from different childhood upbringing and everything, right? Some people just need to see that example over and over again, and you would actually, be contagious, and they will start
Right.
to behave like you. Just like we said that some people will go through a bad relationship, then in their next relationship they are doing like their bad partner, not because that's who they are, but that's rubbed
they're
off on them.
treating their new partner like
Exactly.
the other person treated them.
Exactly. So what I tell people, whether man or woman, is before you quit, do your own part.
I agree.
Just do the emotional investment. Don't worry, it won't do anything bad to you.
I would always say show up in a relationship how you know that you would be proud of yourself, even if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
If it ends, you can beat your chest and say, I tried
That's
my
it.
best.
Exactly.
Like I did, and best is relative. Some people say I tried my best, but they didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Make sure from your logical mind,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
truly tried my
That's
best.
it.
And I truly believe that in certain situations, divorce is fine. I think that thing of divorce is a no. I think
Yeah,
is a
I'm not
bad
against it
idea. Yeah, I think there's certain situations, maybe when there's domestic abuse, when there is,
that
you
one
know,
is instant.
even sometimes extreme emotional abuse. I don't think people talk enough about
Emotional abuse is
Emotional abuse will destroy
domestic
you.
violence in invisible form.
God
Like
bless you.
you could literally sit down with a person like this and they're dying, but they're smiling at the gathering.
Yeah,
Their
and they don't
husband or
have
their wife is
scars
there,
on their body,
but
so they
they're
cannot.
gone.
They don't have an evidence.
Like, oof.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy.
it's deep,
It's
yeah.
crazy. So there's certain situations that you find yourself, and it's okay to get a divorce, and you haven't failed, and you can still have a fulfilling marriage with another person in the coming future.
Yeah.
But it's important that it's your mental health. Protect
Number
it.
one. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
But sometimes we do that. I'm protecting my mental health. And we are over. The thing is, everything is just too
It's
much
a-
of
no,
everything
it's
is
never
bad.
exactly.
Yes. Even too
Ca-
much of protecting your mental health is
It's
bad.
bad.
Don't be selfish. Just be
I know
a
many brain
good
touch people
person.
that they say they are
Right.
them.
So thank you so much. Kiki.
All
We've
right.
learned so much from
Happy
you
to
today.
be here.
Thank you for coming. We
All
have
right.
to wrap this up. So
Okay,
if you could
got
give one short final advice to somebody that is about to get married or is currently in a marriage that, they're, I don't know, whatever, what advice would you give to them?
Do your part and understand what peace means to the other person, not what you think peace should mean to them. Whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, what does
Right.
peace mean to them? Give it to them, and in the middle of that, they will learn what peace means to you. If you don't have a mad person, but yeah.
Emphasis on if you don't have your map. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
so
you so
welcome.
much. So we've come to the end of this episode. We hope you learned a thing or two. So we'll be here same time next week. Goodbye. Ciao.